Hey everyone, Chris here. Welcome back. We are taking a look at the 2.0 meter E-flite T-28. This is a huge model. It looks really nice. The yellow, you can see it. It's like, you know, flying a big school bus. From a visibility standpoint, it's pretty awesome. I personally prefer the kind of the white and the orange, the classic colors, but I don't mind the yellow at all personally. That being said, it is fully painted all around. And so if you wanted to do a paint job on this airplane, it would be really easy to do it as a result of that. You can paint directly over this stock paint, do anything you want, and it would look fantastic. Otherwise, in terms of the assembly, it was really quite straightforward. I will say that they don't have any of the hard mounted connectors or anything like that, and there's probably 8 or so wires you actually have to feed through into the fuselage to connect together. I do wish that they had a little bit simpler solution there, and so I ended up picking up some TBolt connectors to make that a little bit simpler because the airplane's so big. It's kind of awkward to work on when I was assembling it, and so when you put the wings on, you know, you got to connect a bunch of individual wires. So with that TBolt connectors in there, it's only 2 connections that I have to plug together, which makes it a whole lot simpler. But yeah, otherwise flying the airplane, this is an amazing flying airplane. It flies slow, it's plenty quick, and so aerobatics, it'll do it all day long. 4 points, aileron rolls, verticals, all of that, it does really nicely. It's got a nice neutral CG, which we'll talk about after we take it out to fly it. But yeah, really nice flying airplane with the flaps down. Lands really nice and slow, and also you can do these nice wheelie touchdowns. It's a lot of fun. And so why don't we take this out to the field? We'll give you guys a flight and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the setup, we'll talk about CG, control throws, and all of that. And so that way you guys can understand how I'm flying this airplane. And so yeah, let's take it out. So one of the things I forgot to mention, the retracts, they are actually upgraded. These are a variation of the E-flite Viperjet retracts. You do still have the wire struts here, but otherwise they now have a soft tire option for the tires, which is probably a good idea. I still have the stock tires on here, but I think upgrading the tires would be nice because it'll soften the landing a little bit, but you'll see that the airplane does land really nice and slow. The gear also, they pull up nice and tight. You've got the 2-piece doors on the mains. I do wish there was a nose door, but that could be an easy mod to do at some point. All right, let's do it. Super nice flying airplane. Now let's talk about the battery. Let's talk about the flight controls, where I'm set. So first of all, in terms of the controls, I settled on my mid rates all around. And so that equates to 80% on the ailerons with 6% expo, 80% on the elevator with 6% expo, and then on my rudder, I'm at 100% with 20% expo there. I generally will always go 100% on the rudder just as a general rule. But those controls feel really good. It's nice and smooth. It responds nice and scale. And so you can go up if you want more responsiveness, but for me and my flying style, that feels really good. In terms of the CG, you got this huge hatch. You've got a huge battery area here. And so I'm running a 6S 5000 pack pushed all the way forward. You've got so much room here. You could run a 7,000, you could run an 8,000, and it would be totally fine. The airplane's not gonna notice the weight at all. And so for me, the 5000, that flight that we just flew, it was 5.5 minutes by the time I taxied back. So my timer is set at 4 minutes, and it went off during the touch and goes. And so by the time I finished flying, it's 5.5 minutes, and that's with the 5000. And so with the 7000, you could probably fly 7 or 8 minutes pretty easily. Now, in terms of where that equates to on the CG, if you check this panel line here, the CG is basically about 1 inch forward of that, kind of about where this plate would be, but it's just set per the manual, and it feels really good, and it's fairly neutral in the inverted. And so I wouldn't necessarily want to go any further back with it. You could go further forward if you wanted, but it felt really good. I wouldn't change it personally. And so that's where I'm going to stick with it on this one. And so yeah, I've got more packs. I'm going to get some more flying in, but that is it for this review. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out this next video, and until next time, I'll see you at the field.